Let's talk skin. Let's talk truth. This is Barefaced Chat, and I'm Kelly Saynor. I've spent over 2 decades in aesthetics, seen behind the filters, under the makeup, and beneath the skin. On this podcast, we strip back the noise and get real about beauty, identity, and everything in between. In this episode, we look at everything from corporate to care where reflexology is concerned. We look at whole bodily health systems. We look at the nervous system, embodiment, real connection, and mutual trust. Because skin isn't just skin. It's your story, and I'm here for it. I'm Kelly Saynor. Are you ready for some barefaced chat? Disclaimer, the views shared in this episode are personal opinion and are not intended as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making decisions about your skin or health. So let me first introduce my guest to you. This is a guest that I trust with far more than just my feet.
Oh.
Victoria Mitchell is a powerhouse turned healer. A former corporate professional who made a radical shift into reflexology after caring for her father through Parkinson's and dementia. And my dad, I don't know if he's there, but it resonates. What began as an act of comfort, moisturising feet, grew into a calling that's changed not just her life, but so many others. Victoria is now one of the most skilled, deeply trained reflexologists I've ever met. And I've met a few, and I had some during my pregnancy and stuff, and you just speak a different language.
Oh, that's lovely.
Qualified in everything from fertility, palliative care to child medics and nervous system support, which is just in such a short space of time. You've gone hell for leather with it.
Yeah.
And every time we speak, and this is, you'll agree with this, we leave no stone unturned.
It's true.
It's true, yeah. We talk about nervous system regulation, trauma, finding softness again. We've even done alcohol to death.
Yeah, we have.
Come full circle on that. Today, we're going to be talking about the healing power of touch and the wisdom in the feet. And the quiet moments can make you, that want to make you rewire your full system. But what makes you or her truly special is her ability to hold space emotionally, energetically, and holistically. Today, we're going to be talking a bit more about grief, embodiment, transformation, and why healing often starts with the willing to sit and be touched by Victoria. Victoria, welcome to Barefaced Chat.
Thank you. That was lovely. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So tell me a bit about how you got into it all. I wanted to start with the fact that you were in the corporate world. What were you doing in the corporate world?
Okay, so I was responsible for product and proposition development in corporate, mostly financial services, which actually, it's about the customer. It's about the customer journey, about making sure that what you're doing makes sense to people. Okay. So it's a loose segue, but it was always about the customer, not about the corporate experience.
Got you.
The corporate experience can be brutal.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Don't we know it?
But again, what made the job amazing was the connections you have with your colleagues, right? Yeah. So it was always about connection. It was always about collaboration.
Yeah.
So that's what I did in corporate. The journey I took with my father. So yes, you're right. He had Parkinson's disease for a number of years. He got it very early on, probably through stress at work. It's a lot more prevalent nowadays, isn't it?
Massive.
So they think there's more environmental aspects to it. But certainly for him back then, he just worked and worked and worked, never did really anything else. He was very focused like that. So there was a lesson in there as well. My mum died very early. She died at the age of 50, actually 2 weeks after her 50th birthday with multiple sclerosis. Again, very stressful lifestyle, not really sort of taking time out. It was different back then.
Yeah, of course
it was different back then.
Yeah.
They both worked. They were raising us.
Yeah.
There was none of this internet and, navel gazing.
No.
They just didn't have that luxury back then.
So true.
I suppose those things have always been in the background for me. Take responsibility for how you live.
Yeah.
But yes, to come back to my father. So he, long story, but he ended up in a care home. I visited him every day. I gave up work for 4 months. So he didn't feel like I just abandoned him in a care home, right? So I went every day and, did his meals and things like that. It was never something that he wanted. He was very, very kind about accepting it.
Yeah.
his needs were too much for us at that point. And yeah, you're right. It's very functional. And it was a good care home, it was very functional, feeding, and people would feed him with a spoon. They'd be in a rush. I hate to see that. I just hate to see that.
It's so undignified, isn't it?
It's undignified. And I ended up putting photos of him as a younger person on the door so that people remembered he wasn't just a smelly old man.
Wow.
Do you know?
Yeah, totally.
Because if you're at work and that's all you've done, there's a raft of old people, your lunch breaks at time. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it,
Yeah.
right? The compassion for caring isn't always a natural thing. It can be it's like looking after small children.
Yes.
You don't love them every single day in the same way, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah.
I was spending a lot of time in there with him, and we didn't have a touchy-feely relationship. There was not a lot of hugging and things like that. He was a lovely man, but he was quite formal, But yeah, the foot care. So the foot care became a bit of a problem because it's quite a specialist thing, apparently, cutting nails. You aren't allowed to do it unless you're qualified to do it in that sort of a setting. So, of course, I'm a family member, I can do it. So it started there, really. Looking after his fingernails and his toenails, and doesn't sound very glamorous at all, does it? And then sort of rubbing a little bit of lotion in, like I think you mentioned. And I would notice while I was doing that, his shoulders would drop.
Gosh.
And he would just, his whole person would just relax. And I'd notice, oh gosh, that there's, and so I'd make more and more excuses to do it like regularly, sort of at least once a week. Oh, Dad, shall I just, there was nothing to do with reflexology at that point.
Yeah.
It was just, I appreciated that he was enjoying that, and we could still chat about normal things. There was nothing intimate about it. There was nothing odd about it at all. And I think that's really one of the things I love about reflexology. You're not taking your top off like for massage. There's no vulnerability to it really at all.
Yeah.
Or as much as you want.
Some people have got like a weird thing with feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a lot of comments. Oh, you do that weird foot thing. But, really, it's not feet never, I mean, gosh, my own feet bother me more than anybody else's. Yeah. It's always the way, isn't it? So it sort of started there. And I really, really wish that I'd known then what I know now.
Wow.
I feel like I really could have helped him a lot more, not obviously, but more with quality of life, with how he felt on a daily basis, and with what I know now about nutrition and about, again, the energy stuff that we might touch on later on, and really just help ease that whole sort of process. But yeah, that's really where it started.
That's incredible.
Seeing it with my own eyes.
That's unbelievable. I don't think many people can say that walking into any industry.
Yeah.
Unless they've done it, as work experience. But what I love about it is that you've had first-hand experience that actually gave you, and you saw somebody physically change.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Before you understood the scientific part of it. So again, you've beautifully segued into what we're talking about. It always meanders like this, and it feels so organic because people say what I don't even need to ask. With that in mind then, what made you decide that was the route, reflexology particularly, not podiatry? What was it about the reflexology part?
So I'd had reflexology myself at that point, years before, and had really, and I mean, honestly, corporate world's stressful, right? Shark infested custard. You need to be able to do something that makes you feel like you again. Yeah. I'm not exaggerating. It really is. It can be quite full on. Yeah. And I would feel relax. It's such an overused word. Like stress is such an overused word. Yeah. I wish there was a different word for it, but more in tune with myself, if that makes sense. I came away feeling less jumbled, less jangled. Okay. When I get stressed, I get very scattered. People have different, with nervous system things. I get very scattered. I'm instantly sort of all over the place. And so reflexology just
grounded
me. That's a brilliant, glued it all back together. And I felt like I could go into my working week again. So I knew a bit about it, never considered doing it. But then having seen that, that won't sound funny, it feels like a power. When you're laying hands on somebody and they go away feeling different to when they came in, that I will never get fed up with that.
Yeah.
I will never get bored with that.
Yeah.
It's just, and everyone's different. Everyone comes differently. Some people are really open. Some people are really closed. Some people have been bought a voucher and don't even know what they're coming for.
Yeah.
You know, but it's an amazing experience every time.
I remember having it the first time, and somebody had said to me, because Cole wasn't coming. And I was a week over, and that was 10 days over, and I was like, this is getting a bit. And before I was going to be induced and all this sort of thing, I wasn't looking forward to it. He just didn't want to come out.
Yeah.
I was giving him a very nice environment. But somebody said, go for reflexology because it can start to induce you.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like anything. It didn't do anything. Maybe I was fed up. I don't know. But nothing had changed. And I was like, okay, what is this crock of...
Yeah,
like,
100%.
What? What was the point? I felt a bit relaxed, but I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
And it was only really until whether I was in the right headspace, whether that you even need to be in the right headspace, because it feels so much more medical, and that's maybe why I understand it.
Yeah.
Than it does relaxation or holistic in that sort of loose term that people might talk about being, one of these alternative therapies.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
And when I was treated by you, that's when I felt, okay, I get it now. So I think it's the right reflexologist, isn't it?
It absolutely. It's like the right hairdresser or the right facialist or, whatever phrase you would like to be known as. It's the right anything. And I think as well, like any industry, there are varying degrees of interest by the person that's doing it.
Yeah.
Varying degrees of training.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never not people talk about algorithms on social media as being a really negative thing. But actually for me, it works amazingly because my feed is full of, Chinese, cultural appropriation to one side. I want to be very, very careful here. But, just all the stuff that I'm interested in that I can grab hold of. And I think once you pull that thread and it's the way your mind works, you can just keep throwing information and knowledge in. Yeah. I've not really experienced that before. I had to work hard at my career. Yeah. It didn't come naturally. It wasn't that easy. I've never done anything so easy. And I don't mean easy as in not effortful. Yeah. I mean, the effort flows,
yes,
and it makes sense. And I might see a snippet on a reel and it suddenly makes sense to the 3 podcasts that I've listened to. You're joining the dots.
Absolutely. Always
all the time.
The dots. Yeah.
Whether it's nutrition, whether it's hormone balancing, whether it's nervous system regulation. We are such a complex and yet beautifully simple organism. Once you understand yourself, and I've seen a very recent podcast that said, be the CEO of you. Oh, I love that. Don't leave it to who are you waiting for to own your health? Your GP that you might see once a year. So interesting. Don't wait till you're poorly. And that, I think, is really where my practice is going.
That's an education though, isn't it? That's a really good point actually, because that's a different education that we've got to do. Yeah. Because as a nation, we don't treat proactively.
No, we don't. We're superb at, we're superb at trauma. Yeah. And putting people back together. Yeah. We are okay at managing chronic conditions. Yeah. If you can get in to see the right person and they listen to you and all the rest of that's whole separate podcast problem. Yeah. But being well, and I mean wellness, I am called wellness reflexology, and I kind of think about that word wellness now because it's very overused and people, but Instagrammy. Yeah. But it's that overall, how am I doing?
Doesn't do you justice, does it? In a way.
No, but I think we have never been in a better time to do that. You can go on online Superdrug, and get a blood test. Yeah. Know your stuff. No, you don't have to be qualified. There's no qualification in this, right? You've got a body, you're qualified. Yeah. Understand your insulin. That there's I listened to a great part, and I'm not going to remember the chap's name that he was interviewing, but Dr. Chatterjee, his latest one. Yeah. And the guy's he's got a PDF on his website, and it's 10 blood tests that you should be getting done regularly. And most of them are like really inexpensive. We're not talking about, if you've got £800 to throw at it, we're not talking about that. You can either get them via your GP if you've got a willing and helpful GP. Otherwise, go online,
Yeah.
Newman,
Yeah.
Thriver,
Yeah.
Superdrug.
Yeah.
Understand what's going on for you, because I think the most frightening thing is, by the time symptoms show, you've probably had that problem in your body for about a decade, maybe more.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm at that age now. I'm 55 this year. Shaving stuff off already.
You're doing such a good job. You're going backwards.
I'm sort of thinking, what was I doing when I was 30 that I'm going to pay the price for now? It wasn't great. I was living in London at the time. We never went home straight after work. There was a lot of drinking involved. There's a lot of, and I thought, but you can always do something.
Yeah. But you're unique. And that's what I love about it. This is a real education. And I think we've got a population of parents. So generationally, not that I want to kill them all off, but we are shifting.
Yeah.
I think more now than ever, my son's age, he's taking a bit more control.
Yeah.
I think that there is still loads of work to do, but generationally, post-COVID, we've taken so much more accountability.
Yeah.
We're supplementing more than we ever were.
Yeah.
And I think that, I still get the I want to take control of my health, and we've talked about adaptogens and all that sort of thing. And I still get the whole question, if I go to my mum and she's like, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
Like it's a bit of we didn't do any of this in my day,
No.
So I think that there's a real cultural, social shift, generational shift, and not feeling or not wanting to be apologetic about it, because you are unique in that you do believe that, and I think you should just speak the gospel and spread the Victoria word, because that's what made me
I think that's a very kind thing to say, but I'm borrowing heavily, from, this isn't original research that I'm doing. We have never been so information rich.
Yeah.
And again, it's like that social media algorithm piece. It's good and bad. I completely understand people get completely overwhelmed. I don't really take many supplements anymore, because I actually, the first thing, whenever you read something on social media, anywhere, understand who's selling you something.
Yes. 100%, period.
Who's selling you something? If you're okay with that, go right ahead.
Yes.
If you think, actually, I'm buying into your dream here, I'm giving you £15.99 so that you can...
So true.
Isn't it? And it took me a long time to learn that, though. It took me a long time to learn that.
I'm a marketer's dream.
Oh, yeah, me too. And it's, dopamine hits, isn't it? Ooh.
Yeah.
I can look like this, I can be like that. And I think I'm so lucky being in my mid-50s, because you get that wisdom where you're just like, I am this, and I don't need that and that and that. There are a few things I do take. Probably don't need to get into that now, but because like you say, everyone's different. But if you understand what you're trying to do, if you read a whole article about, vitamin D, vitamin D is a bad one actually, because that's a really good one to supplement. If you read something about selenium, selenium really good for your brain health. Here's a bottle of selenium pills for £30, but it's a whole month's supply. You get this for free. 5 Brazil nuts will do that for you.
Right. Okay.
So whenever you read something about this amazing super thing, this mineral, this nutrient that you absolutely should have, and so many people are deficient in,
and there are trends with it, aren't there, as well?
Google it. What are the food sources? You'll find a boiled egg will probably do most things, if you don't eat it. Nuts. Or people have been shouting from the rooftops for ages, nuts, seeds, dairy, meat, If you eat a good diet, and I'm going to come on to ultra-processed foods if there's an opportunity, you don't need to supplement with much. If you're eating, collagen is one that I do take because I drank that Kool-Aid and I'm there. But if you're eating salmon, if you're eating fish, I don't eat meat. But if you're eating meat, you are eating collagen.
Yes,
understand that. Understand that you are eating collagen.
Absolutely.
So if you're not eating any of those things, fine, supplement. But just be really clear about what you're supplementing for. And wouldn't it just be nicer just to eat an egg?
Yes.
Than take 5 different tablets. Vitamin D is probably the exception.
Yeah.
Because it's go for your life, supplement with that.
You said something to me that made a lot of sense. And I think that people are scared to do this. You said, I'm almost recycling information. This is not new information, but that is the power of the human curiosity. And what you do, we don't need to take something new.
No.
We don't need to do a PhD.
It's all there.
It's all there for you. But what you've done, and what I love about talking to people that give me energy, is that you take it in, Victoriafy it, and then tell me it.
Right.
And that is what the best people in the world are doing. They're taking in the information, understanding it in their way. And that for me is new information, because I haven't heard it like that.
Right.
So that's why it resonates with so many people. And that's why so many people now that are in very sort of influential positions, podcasting and things like that I listen to, they still reiterate, this isn't new.
No.
We don't need it to be new or novel.
No.
We just have to understand it.
We pretty much, in terms of health and what the human body needs to run well, we've known this for decades, really. You need to cut through, you need a filter.
Yeah.
You need a big fat filter.
Yeah.
That's really all you need.
Yeah.
Listen, and again, like you said, I'm listening to, I'm re-listening to podcasts that I've already heard and hearing something different.
Yeah.
Because we're always moving.
Yeah.
We're moving through.
Yeah.
I'm meeting people like yourself. I'm meeting clients that are coming into me, and they're teaching me things as well.
Yeah.
Because my life is just mine.
Yeah.
I can't say, if we're going to sort of say something like, leave corporate and start holistic, but well, I can tell you what I did, but that's not going to have anything to do. I don't have kids, I was unfortunate. I couldn't have children, but actually that has meant I've got so many more freedoms. So that's not going to resonate with somebody who's 30 or 35 with two small children looking after elderly parents. They're going to look at me like, whatevs, of course you are. You've got to filter things and make it relevant to yourself. And you have to start by knowing yourself. And I don't mean that in a know yourself.
No, absolutely.
But know why your energy is rubbish. Be honest with yourself, because as I looked at menopause, and perimenopause is brutal. I skipped perimenopause and I'm so grateful. I had a hysterectomy. So it's horrendous, far worse than menopause. I just have to say to people, if you're struggling with perimenopause, just wait, I'll hold on, because menopause is a breeze.
It's easy, it's a
Once
breeze,
it's all done, it's a breeze.
Well, good to know.
Yeah, but actually all of those symptoms, that fatigue, that low mood, irritability, brain fog, let's call it something else, because that's, brain fog sounds too gentle for what actually happens.
Yeah.
Aches and pains. If you're not in the perimenopause, but you're eating ultra processed foods, you're having a glass of wine every night, you're not regulating, you will be living that perimenopause nightmare. So if you're getting into perimenopause and you're already again, I'll speak for myself. When I feel rubbish, I am drawn to rubbish.
Yes, I think that's true for a lot
I
of
want
people.
crisps and wine. I'm not going to have a proper meal.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down and it's going to feel like a reward.
Yeah. Especially after a hard day.
Oh, yeah,
It's like a
hard
treat,
day.
isn't it?
I'm going to have a glass of wine and some salt and vinegar. Oh, yum. And watch some rubbish on TV.
Yeah.
And I feel amazing.
You've got your
I'm
hit.
winning at life.
Yeah,
I'm making my
absolutely.
choices. I
Yeah.
only live once, right? Next morning, I want some caffeine now.
Yes.
And now I want some carbs.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've had a chocolate croissant and a Red
Slippery
Bull. I
slope.
mean, let's, I might be a reflexologist, but this is what
This is the reality, isn't it?
I'm not above this.
Yeah.
And then lunchtime comes, you're feeling even, you get the picture.
Yeah.
So it actually, and then a lot is made about, it's my hormones. And maybe it's not your hormones.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just your daily habits.
Absolutely.
Have you moved? Have you been outside?
Yeah.
Have you spoken to somebody you like?
Yes. So true.
Have you cleaned the kitchen?
Yes.
It sounds really trite and Instagrammy, and I'm not on Instagram, by the way. Don't understand it. I'm too old. But these things are meaningful.
I agree.
It's not always something that's out of your control.
No.
And I get it. When you're tired and your kids won't go to sleep and everything else, the last thing you feel like doing, do it anyway.
So
do it for me, because
true.
you're just going to carry on. When I'm in that mode, and I'm not, like I say, I'm not above it. I lost my cat a couple of weeks ago. I've had him for 20 years and I was so sad. And
So
I did the
sorry.
whole wine thing and everything else. And, you know, for a fortnight, and I felt awful.
Yeah.
And I call it the ice pick moment, the ice axe moment, where you're sliding down that slippery slope, literally. There's got to be a point that you fling your ice axe in and stop.
Yeah.
And start picking your way back up that cliff till you're on an even. And it doesn't take months.
No.
You know, you can feel better in 3 days.
Yeah, it's recognizing it.
It's recognizing it.
And so many people don't. And so many people have got so much going on.
Yeah.
That it's actually really difficult to hear that.
Yeah.
Because it's easier.
That.
It's easier to listen to the noise or keep doing the do.
And grab a frozen pizza and just wallop it on the table, you know, 100%.
It's more exhausting for people to think, oh God, it feels like
another thing to do.
Yes, rather than
another thing on the to-do list. You know, I've got to show up to work. I've got to be polite. Then I've got to go home and cook a meal. You actually really haven't. You know, what I used to do when I was working is I used to Sunday afternoon put the radio on and put some music on. I do a batch cook. Now, I appreciate that I've got a freezer and I've got time to do that. You know, again, I don't want to sound like, oh, you know.
No, I know what you're saying.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It was easy for me and I enjoy cooking. But I do a big chili, 5-bean chili, and I'd do 2 or 3 things, pop them up in those plastic takeaway containers, which I wouldn't do now because it's plastic. You know, and freeze them. Yeah. And then when I can't be bothered, I've got... and I've made it and I know what's in it. And that's an act of self-love if there ever was one. But if you aren't in that position and you don't have a freezer and you don't have a whatever, you know, grab a book on how to cook for a student, 1-pot meals, noodles, pasta. Doesn't have to be, you know,
the big
goji berries and flimming, you know, pomegranate seeds. It doesn't have to be that. Yeah. It just has to be, or buy frozen veg.
I think this comes back to this whole be kind to me bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when we're asking people or people feel like they're being asked a lot of, what you're doing is making it easy for them to be able to make 1 or 2 changes.
Just find that thing, or, you know, find someone else who likes to cook. Get them to do all the batch cooking and you
do
mow their
exchange
grass or
something.
Look after the kids. You know, collaboration. Yeah. And as women, we are so bloody good at that. If we have any superpower at all, it's got to be collaboration. Yeah. Get someone who likes it. Yeah. If someone came to me and said, look, if you're going to do a big...
Yes, but collaboration sometimes undermines this. I can do it. I don't want to ask for help.
Yes, that is true.
But
then I think that's not true collaboration.
It's not.
And you mentioned a few words at the very, very start of this: trust, connection, openness, vulnerability. You know, even if you've got that with one person, you don't have to have a great group of friends. You know, a lot is made again on saying, I've got 15 of my closest friends. I don't have 15 close friends. I couldn't maintain 15 close friends, believe me. You know, it only has to be one other person. Or your mum, or you know,
absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be elaborate cooking.
No,
you know, and even if it's one meal out of the 3 that you're having, I just think it's the most important thing. If I did nothing else,
that would be
stop eating ultra processed foods.
Okay, I think that's a really good takeaway.
If there's nothing else.
And that really leads us really nicely onto some of the things that you have done within your reflexology career that have looked at what it means to be healthy, or to just take that time out, or you know, the link with NHS, and what you're doing is trying to change their physiological processes in a way that's just change one thing. Yeah. So for those people that are listening that are unfamiliar with like what reflexology is, let's bring it back to the basics of what you do.
Right. Okay.
What explain to us?
Oh, it's so hard to explain reflexology. What is it? So fundamentally, and it's moving all the time, right? We have to understand that. So I'm actually on a course now, a year-long level 6 course that kind of poo-poos reflexology as a foot massage.
Okay. Really interesting. Love that.
It's triggering. But now that I'm at level 4 of this level, I get it. I'm starting to get it. So let me qualify that. So reflexology in its most basic form has it that the body is reflected on the sole of the foot, or the sole and the back of the foot, so plantar and dorsum. Also in the hands to a lesser extent, and the ears. Now, we're talking about acupuncture points, acupressure points, meridians. We're talking about all of that stuff, as well as the organs of the body. And when I started studying reflexology, I was like, oh, you know, and there are so many loose areas. You can look at, again, reflexology is an industry. So people are trying to sell training courses.
Yes.
Again, look at who's selling you something.
Yep.
So in order to be unique, they'll change the chart a little bit. They'll say, oh, I've discovered whatever. So there's that. You know, you can get different versions of chart. Most of the things, like in the human body, are in the right place, you know, on the feet. But you'll get some people who will teach that the big toe is generally held to be the brain, the face, the brain, the head. But you'll get two pituitary glands on the feet. What I'm studying now is, don't be ridiculous. You let me put this down here. You put your 2 feet together, and that's the body. So your medial aspects of your feet are actually the middle of the body, not two separate bodies on 2 separate feet.
Right.
So that's quite a different thing, a different way. So I think, as with everything, how I've learned is to take the training and then experientially. So what do I find on people's feet? Where do I find it? Does that make sense? And again, this filter, right? You've got to take it and kind of go, okay, yeah, the liver is absolutely there, and that's absolutely where I'm going to find the neck. Because if someone comes in with a neck problem, really, you know, again with stress, whatever, I will find that, generally speaking, on the foot, in the same place for most people. The esophagus is a bit of a party trick in reflexology. You can run your thumb down the esophagus, and if there's a clicky, dippy kind of thing, oh, you didn't mention it acid reflux. How do you know that? It's a bit of a, bit of a thing. I do enjoy that one.
To you all day.
But for the rest of it, so, well, okay, sorry, go back to the question. That's fundamentally what reflexology is. And by working those elements, so it's a really good one for musculoskeletal, let's say. So you've got a shoulder issue. Yeah. The shoulder reflex is on the back, on top of the foot by the little toe. So as you're running down towards the ankle, that's where you'll find the shoulder, and on the outside of that little toe. So you can do a lot of movements around. You can literally, so here's my little toe. You can pull it around like this. You can work that joint, and people will feel I don't know how it works. There are so many theories as to how it works, whether it's energetic, whether it's the nerve endings, nervous system, whatever. I was enjoying doing it. I was having results with it, but I never really, and this is the whole corporate my brain doesn't really, I don't get this. And then I had a client, a very special client, actually was a member of my partner's family, and he had cancer. He was an older gentleman. He had cancer, and he had a big goiter. He had a number of things, actually. He had a goiter. It had spread throughout his body. And I had the honour of seeing him before it really took hold, and all the way through his journey to the end. Let me tell you, his feet changed.
Oh my God.
On that neck reflex, I've got the photographs. On that neck reflex, a bulge. So say this is your neck. It's a big toe. In between the big toe and second toe, there was a proper big bulge that matched his goiter on his neck. I'm not fibbing.
Stop it.
As the cancer spread through his lungs into his gut, those areas went very dark, very black. Now, it wasn't that all of his circulation was poor, because your feet will go dark, dark purpley black. It's, as you'll know that from being in the NHS. This was very specifically on specific reflexes that I knew I was working, because that's where his cancer had gone to. So look, none of what I was doing for him was about curative or, it was palliative care. It enabled him to relax, to feel more human again, not a patient, right? I never say patient, I always say client. Even as he was sort of bedridden towards the end, I would do palliative care is very, very gentle. There are certain reflexes you just don't go on to. Okay. But it's just, again, it's nurturing, isn't it? It just feels so lovely. Yeah. You can do stroking. Actually, there's an entire course on lymphedema, how to reduce ankle swelling and foot swelling that people have with various different things.
Yeah.
So whatever it is or isn't, it seems to have an effect, and I'm happy at that level. And I've actually said to people that even if it is an elaborate foot massage, if you feel better and your pain is reduced and your nervous system has regulated, I'm happy with that. I'm not precious about what we're calling it, really.
That's an incredible story, Vic.
Yeah.
An incredible story. Do enough people know about this? Do enough people know or believe it?
I
don't
know. And actually, one thing I found very early on is I have stopped saying to people, oh, you should come and try reflexology. Because people come with a very different approach then. Oh, go on then.
Yeah.
Go on then, show me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it won't work. Look, and I'm not saying that everyone with cancer, it's going to show up on their feet. Yeah. You've got to be so careful.
Absolutely.
That happened.
Yeah, it's a big claim.
I saw it, and it really cemented it for me, which is maybe just what I needed. But when people are looking for something, I've got an amazing client at the moment. She's gone for Ayurvedic consultation. She's had a journey therapy. She's come to me for reflexology, and she's still doing all of those things. And, you know, I felt so proud, which is such a funny thing, because she came to me because when I said at the beginning, this is the easiest thing I've done. It's not effortful.
Yeah.
I'm fully immersed in this. It's what I live and breathe. But it just comes, it flows.
Yes.
Right? So I don't feel like I'm climbing mountains.
Yes, it's slogging you up.
And I feel like other people are still better qualified. I don't think I'll ever really lose that. But she came and she said, do you know, everything you said to me last week about nourishment, and because I'm finding things in a small intestine, which is about absorption of nutrients on an energetic level as well as a physical level. She said, my Ayurvedic doctor, who was a qualified doctor, said the same thing. And she said, I'm really pleased that I'm seeing you both. And I thought, oh, you know, a doctor said the same thing to this lady.
I mean, are we all doing reflexology now? Because I think, are you doing reflexology, Sam? I think we should do it.
But I think that the point I'm trying to make is that lady was ready. She was ready energetically. She was ready. She was looking for something in her life. She said, it's about me now. And I think with a lot of things, it's like you've just said, you know, you can hear things and hear things and hear things. And then one day it's like, oh yeah, that's for me. Oh yeah, I get that. That's for me. And so, yeah, don't all rush at once, you know, be in that mindset where, you know, I have people come to me sort of regularly and we'll do the thing and they'll feel great and then they'll go straight back. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine because I've done that myself, you know. And then sometimes you'll get people who are like, and what should I be eating for that? What should I be? And then you're on this journey together.
Yes.
And that is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and there's always an exchange.
Because they've bought in, haven't they?
Yeah. They're
committed
to themselves. You know, I never see, I'm not actually really doing anything. Please understand that. You know, you again, like I say, be the CEO of yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Come and have reflexology, but also know that your blood sugar levels are out, or, you know, you're not handling stress well. Know that, yes, come and talk to me and I'll tell you about it. Yeah. I can't do that. It's like going to see a personal trainer.
Yes.
I can go to a personal trainer once a week and then sit on the sofa and eat my crisps and watch Below Deck. You know, she could be full of knowledge and information about muscles and joints and movement. And if I'm not ready for that journey,
absolutely,
there's no real point.
You're speaking a Macana language.
And I'm probably going to hurt myself more, because I'm going to be doing squats and lunges and other ugly things with no real right.
Same in my industry. I could speak until I was blue in the face, but it's not my journey.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it does resonate. And I think it transcends that loads of different industries.
Yeah, exactly.
And therapies. So given that you've trained to that degree and you've really wanted to understand it, it's become an effortless, this is something that you've wanted to do. Yeah. Loads of people that embark on new courses, new journeys, new jobs, new careers, some of them go, it's just been my thing. I've wanted, and really, it's easy. It goes in, it's easy. And that's what I felt like my journey's been. It's not been hard ever. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. I've just loved it. But it sounds like it's shaped the way that you practice, because it feels so effortless. And one of the things that you talked about there was cancer, and I know you've done stuff in fertility, and that resonates with me because I've got the fertility pharmacy. What is Chai Medic?
Oh, Chi Medics.
Chi Medics.
Chi Medics. Right, that's the course I'm currently doing.
Right.
That's throwing a lot of reflexology out the window slightly. But again, they're selling a course, you know, I'll be fair to them. They are amazing. This couple, Sharon and Moss, they are incredible. And Moss has been doing this for 40 odd years.
Wow.
And again, he similarly did a reflexology course. Unlike me, thought to himself, that doesn't really make an awful lot of sense. Asked too many questions.
Yes.
Didn't like the answers because people are teaching without feeling it. And embarked on his own experiential journey. So what Moss is teaching is what he has found to be useful, helpful. They won't release anything unless they've done it enough times to know. So it is based on Chinese medicine. And again, I apologize for any cultural appropriation, even saying that. It isn't Chinese medicine. But it's acupuncture points, acupressure points. Moss understands so much about the energetic body, which I think in this day and age, we can all accept that we have, right? Yeah. You know, and that's not being spiritual or religious or anything. We are just energy forms because we just are. And so he understands, but borrowing from Chinese medicine knowledge, very, very slimly off the top, they hold certain organs. So we're talking about meridians really as well. Okay. So, for example, mental instability, mental health issues, anxiety belong under the gallbladder meridian.
So talk to people, anybody that's listening that doesn't know what the meridian lines are.
Sorry, what see, this is what I mean. It's really hard to explain.
So fascinating.
So the meridian lines, they aren't lines. They aren't physically in the body. You won't be able to cut open your skin and see them. But it's health. I mean, it's like chakras, right? Yeah. What's a chakra?
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I'm into all of this. So.
So chakras are sort of your energy spinning, 6 points, whatever. Meridians are held to be just energy pathways through the body. And actually, when you think about it, you think about our circulation, our blood circulation, our lymph circulation. Our nervous system, what's the word I'm looking for? Neurotransmitters are being sent from the gut to the brain all the time. Things are moving around physically. Yes. Why not energetically? Yes. And so this is what they've sort of got. And there are 6 pairings, stomach, spleen. Well, I won't go through them all because I don't remember them all.
You can for
it's
me.
like naming the 7 doors, and I don't want to go off into that. No. Sorry. But basically, it's about bringing. So it's a funny thing. So, and it's so fascinating, and it would be like another 3 hours. But basically, we're all born with 3 main energy systems that belong to us, like our fingerprints. So we've all got all of them. Some of us don't have a gallbladder. I've got a gallbladder, but I'm not talking about physical organs here. Yeah. So when you have insomnia, what time do you wake up is important. What foods do you like to eat is important. And again, it's borrows a little bit from Ayurvedic knowledge. Are you a hot person, a cold person? There's so many things. I'm just touching on it. And so in my clinic now, I've got this extra toolkit where if someone's coming in, rheumatoid arthritis or chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, these kinds of things are really, really helped by some of this stuff, basically. So when did that happen? When did it start? What season was it? I mean, we're getting into this stuff, right?
Gosh.
And then knowing that, say I'm a spleen stomach person, right? A lot of when you bruise, what color is it? Is it yellowy? Is it bluey? Oh yeah, it all matters apparently. Wow. And again, I use it, again, I'm borrowing, I'm taking this very lightly, but I'm being taught the points on the feet to hold, how many times to hold them. So you're going with 6 out breaths you press in on the out breath because that's when the body's softer and can receive the message. Yeah. There's certain numbers that you'd use: 4 to balance, 6 to treat, 12 to really, sort of treat and balance. So I'm learning a whole different language and a whole different thing. Now, do I understand it fully? Would I stand up and teach it? Absolutely no, not. I'm taking what I need to help the people that come into me. Yeah. There's a lovely hold to really calm children. Yeah. If you look at the foot, there's a dip, right? That's kidney 1, just below the sort of the 2. So you've got your big toe here. So if you put your thumb on kidney 1 and put the rest of your fingers, ignore the big toe, just like that, and just hold the 2 feet like that, it's incredibly calming.
Can we do this for our children?
Do it for your children. Do it for your children at home. There's a number of little lovely holds actually. If they're dysregulated, if they're aggy, or you can put your thumb on top of the 4th toe and put your fingers down by the ankle bone. You're linking gallbladder there, gallbladder 41 and gallbladder 40. And again, very, very calming. If I've got a client who comes in, maybe they've been running late, maybe and they're, and they're just talking, and I really want them just to come down into themselves. One of those 2 holds, we can still carry on chatting, but you'll find that they just start to slow down a little bit. And it's really interesting because when you know someone's 3 energies, that can be so I'll still do. People enjoy reflexology because it feels more. This is a lot of linking and holding. And if people have come for reflexology and they want their feet to be pummeled and feel that good feeling, I understand that. And I'm not going to ever not do that. But I'll bring in a few holds and a few links depending on what they're coming with. So I don't know if that answered the question because I've actually forgotten the question.
No, it absolutely does. It talks about what your patients need. That was the secondary part of the question.
Yeah.
Do you know what your patients need? And you've answered that so
it's developing
eloquently.
a toolkit.
Yeah.
So I have never run the same treatment path on everyone that comes in that day. And actually, some of this stuff is so powerful, and that sounds really whatever, but it can have a real impact on people. I won't do the same treatment twice necessarily. There's an integration balance that you can do. If you have someone who has always pain on the right-hand side or always a weakness in their right wrist, always a headache, something's going on the right side, there's an integration balance that you can do that will sort of crisscross it because you are left side does right side, right side does left. So, and we call them oscillators, where it's just your energy is too much on one side. You can knit that back together. And there's a number of different ways of doing that actually. But again, it's a toolkit. And it doesn't sound at all unusual to me, because I'm so immersed in this stuff that it's just like, well, of course.
Would be fascinated. It's fascinating to me. And there will be people out there that will be fascinated because whilst we can get the Instagram, and you get the snippets and then you start to get the algorithms. Yeah. When you hear it from somebody as skilled as you and as caring and as bothered.
Yeah.
You
definitely
give a
bothered.
Shit. And that comes across in absolute spades. Yeah. So it feels like I would be in safe hands. I can already feel myself like, okay, when are we doing it?
Yeah.
It feels like that when you speak because you are taking this information in, recycling it, like I say, you're Victoriafying it and you're telling me what you've learned. And that's all we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't do anything else.
None of this has come in from me. I'm picking and choosing.
But you've had the experiences now with your clients. I have to change it because I say patient.
Yeah.
With your clients that has allowed you to develop this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really powerful and unique. Yeah. So we've just talked a bit then about regulation and relaxation. Like, when do we know we need to kind of regulate ourselves? So like when a child, that was really interesting to me, the hold and stuff. Yeah. And I think every parent would be like, okay, how do I do that when they're in the middle of a meltdown? But, if you maybe pick times, I think Cole would be, so my little one would just love, he loves a massage before bed and give me stroke, mummy and all that. Yes. And one of my girlfriends told me the other day that she does like a body scan. Yeah. Because her child's got ADHD and she needs to calm him down. So she starts at the feet and she says, right, Benji, Sebi, let's sit. Okay, now we're going to look at you, listen to you. Yeah, I'm looking at your feet. Make your feet relax. Something was crawling at you. Like she goes through.
Amazing. So she's doing it naturally.
Yes. But I think that we do that because we're reacting to this thing rather than actually, does everybody just benefit from that just little bit of 100%, calm?
100%. Even touch. I think that the thing with, and I'm borrowing very heavily, if anyone wants a recommendation, Deb Dana, she's got a lovely book called Anchored. She's got several books, but she also does a podcast and she talks about polyvagal theory, which I won't go into today because it's, again, so many strands, right?
It's
so many
great.
strands.
You've got to come back again.
But basically, yes, touch. And also meeting people where they are. If you've got a child, and I'm not a mother and I'm not a parent, so I have to be very careful here. So your other half, right? Your other half's been triggered.
Yeah.
You've done something, you've said something, they're having a complete meltdown, temper tantrum, because yes, as adults, we can all do that, myself included. Don't say calm down. Calm down in the history of humanity has never calmed someone down. You know,
it's the worst thing you could say.
Okay, so if you really want to help them, step into where they are. Oh, you've really been triggered. Oh, you're really angry. Right, okay. Get where they are. Don't go, oh, well, I'm going to be nice and calm.
Yes.
And I'm just going to let you have that tantrum. And then when you're ready, you come back into it. No, they're going to hate you.
Yeah.
They're going to hate you. It's going to make it worse.
So true.
Get where they are. Even if you think that's really unreasonable, or your trigger has triggered me because, you shouted at me and that happens in relationships all the time.
We get taught to kind of be the calm, don't match them. But I get that.
It's so annoying, isn't it? If I'm going to sit and eat those 3 muffins on that plate and you're like, oh, well, I've got a salad for my lunch.
Yeah, it works.
There's a disconnect there, isn't there? You know, I'm feeling a bit indulgent. You might be like, do you know
Absolutely.
that? So 100% get into their space without getting,
up in the grill.
You don't have to get traumatized by them or get into their whatever. But if it's a child, then, you're really feeling angry or you just want to be noisy now, don't you?
Yeah.
And just, acknowledge
your
it.
empath, aren't they?
That straight away, I'm being heard. Most people, I'm going to try and remember it now. 3 fights that people have, whether it's children or whatever. Hear me, understand me, appreciate me. I think there might be a 4th, but most fights, you haven't heard me. You don't get me.
Yes.
Get them. Just get them. Doesn't matter if they're right, wrong, or whatever. And then, touch.
Yeah.
A kind touch, not a there.
Yes.
Really mean it. You've got to get in there with them. Stroking of the feet, stroking of the hair. Somebody stroking your hair is just so calming. And you're up there near the vagus nerve, if we want to talk about the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
But again, the vagus nerve seems to be coming through as the nerve that gets dysregulated. And again, Instagram, vagus nerve.
Yeah,
especially
with anxiety,
know
isn't it?
how to. It's a cranial nerve. It comes out the bottom of here and it runs through your breathing apparatus and into your gut. Basically, it's the gut brain link. It's so many things. It's a superhighway. You want to regulate your vagus nerve. It's coming through here. And what do mothers do to small children? They sing.
Yeah.
They hum.
Wow.
They rock. Feel. And this is the other thing that's really important to say. You cannot think your way out of being dysregulated because it's not happening in your brain. It's happening in your body.
Yes.
That's why rocking.
Yes.
Stroking.
Yes.
They're coming out with this tapping, the stroking.
Yeah.
If you feel safe in your body, your mind will settle.
Absolutely.
If you do not feel safe comes back to ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
Come back to stress. It comes back to being uncomfortable. Yeah. If you can tell your body, and there's some lovely, I don't know if you're going to have like some writing underneath the podcast, but if you want recommendations, the Workout Witch online, she's amazing at like somatic exercise, lying on the floor, just rocking your feet back and forth. It rocks your whole body, can just release so much. You've got to feel safe in your body first, because if you don't, then the mammalian brain is, you're telling yourself you're not safe. Breathing. Yeah. If you're breathing rapidly, shallowly up here and not thinking about your breath, your brain is thinking, we're not safe.
Yes, absolutely. And that's actually grounded in real evidence, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
You can't think clearly because your amygdala shuts down.
Yes.
You actually cannot think clearly.
You can't think your way out of it. You can't be I'm going to be calm now.
Absolutely.
If you've been triggered, that's not a weakness. Yeah. That's not a personality defect. That's something that's inbuilt. We are meant to be triggered because we're meant to take action. Being triggered by your other half. Yeah. Being on his phone while you're talking. Okay, but, hear me. Yeah. Be with me. Be present. Appreciate me. It comes back to all of those things. If you're triggered, just breathe. Doesn't mean that the thing isn't annoying. Yes. Right? I think there's an awful lot of, once I master all this, I can just coast through life and never be... No, come on. You're going to be annoyed, you're going to be irritated, and you're going to be triggered, and you're going to be dysregulated. It's about, how do I get back quickly?
So
how do I get back
interesting.
to myself quickly?
Wow.
And there are a number of things you could do. Deb Dana, her book, I don't need to repeat, it's full of how to do it. How you eat. So people, when you're dysregulated, you are one of two people, generally speaking. You either shut down,
Yeah.
completely clamp down, go away, whatever, or you escalate.
Yeah.
You're one of those two people.
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to the energies that I was talking
Yes.
about earlier.
Yeah.
You're a spleen, stomach
Yeah.
person, or you're
Yeah.
liver, gallbladder. You know, once you understand your patterns,
Yeah.
I shut down. I'm a complete, I can't do it because I have learned that my voice doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. From whatever
Yes,
age. And
yeah.
that's a whole different thing. The louder I shout, people will laugh. If I get
Yeah.
angry, people will just make fun.
Yeah.
So I don't. I take my voice away and
Yeah.
I take my energy away and I
Yeah.
take my whole self away.
Yeah.
Now, it can take me days to thaw out
Absolutely.
of that.
Yeah.
You know, it really can. And I need to understand, because then my partner feels abandoned.
Yeah.
That triggers his
Yes.
childhood.
His
You will
wound.
find someone who matches your childhood wound, right?
Yes.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you are naturally coming together to trigger one another.
Absolutely.
You're completely unaware of it at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But so my abandonment will trigger his
Yes.
need for,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we're doing this thing. So we understand a lot more about it now. So how do I come back from that complete clamp
Yeah.
shutdown?
Yeah.
Is I use my tools.
Wow.
And it doesn't mean that I'm not cross with him or I didn't really like what he did, but I'm much more able to talk to him in my adult form rather than my 5-year-old form.
Yeah.
I don't want to punish him. I want to understand what happened just then. And that's a tool that I'm not using that tool to be a better partner to him. Let's be selfish about this.
Yeah.
I'm not, women over the ages have been taught, be pleasant, be sweet, be kind, don't rock the boat.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing that for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick. I'm doing it so that I don't stay uncomfortable
Yeah.
for longer than I need
Yeah.
to, because
Yeah.
it feels horrible.
Yeah, it does.
When you've gone to bed, you're just like, questioning all your life choices and everything else that goes with it. I don't want to stay in that state for too long.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
That's why I'm doing it. Not so I can show up and be a polite, pleasant woman. No.
That is so powerful. Oh my gosh, I just feel like because I've done all this work.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I've missed it. By no means is it done. But the puzzle pieces that you're talking about, the information that you're downloading to me, that you're telling me about, that we're all downloading, it's about how you use that and be better, show up better for you.
For you.
Be
selfish.
100%.
Be selfish.
I didn't realise that though.
Yeah.
Because I had for years, I didn't feel like I didn't know what a need was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what regulation was.
Yeah.
When people talked about fight, flight, fawn, freeze, I was like, what does that? Who does that? Who's doing that?
Actually, and there's a lot of stuff online about how to identify, but then it's coming for me.
I
know. What to do about it? Sorry.
I know.
What to do about it? That's the bit that's lacking, I think, on a lot of I'm going to say Instagram again. I don't need to demonize Instagram, but so look at me in my perfect life.
No.
What do you do then? And that's where all this other stuff comes in. Deb Dana, Workout Witch. There's so many out there now that I trust and would go to and recommend regularly to understand. And then this is what to do. You
need to do your own videos, because I could look and watch you and listen to you all day long. I really could. So in terms of that then, because I think that we talked a bit about and how that sort of really, really is dead easy for me to move into like the NHS side of things and what we're not doing. You talked about this. Okay, so now we're in this like, okay, I need to regulate. And you said to me when I was feeling particularly stressed one time, it's going to go somewhere, Kel. Now, given that it might turn into some illness at some point, we don't know what, when you couldn't pinpoint it. Why do you think then that therapeutic touch in a way is so overlooked in the NHS when we know it shouldn't be?
Who's got time?
Yeah.
Who's got time? You don't have time. You don't have that relationship with patients in an NHS setting. You don't have a double-blind study. For a lot of the medical profession, and I get this, it's perfectly valid, research papers, double-blind studies, control groups. You can't do that with reflexology. You can't have a group of people that don't think they had reflexology and a group of people that know they have.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So, and you said something about, you said it was an alternative therapy. We need to be careful. It's a complementary therapy. There's a big difference. Alternative therapies would eschew Western medicine and say, do this instead.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that at all. Complementary therapy works alongside anything else that you might choose to do. Right, so it's complementary and alternative, very different things.
Okay, I think we need to reiterate
I don't think it's always been, I don't think people really know that. So, yeah, absolutely, it should be. But if you're a medical doctor, the world is changing, as I think, as we said, and I think you can feel perhaps challenged. You might have a patient coming in who has fibromyalgia and who actually knows far more about fibromyalgia than you do, because you're seeing 30 people in a day and you've got 8 minutes with each person. They live with fibromyalgia, so they know it. They might have spent hours researching it. That's challenging to a medical doctor. So we're all trying to, in our own way, maintain our own
homeostasis,
square meter of the planet, right? This is what I do. This is how I do it. For a medical doctor to have gone through however many years of study and then say, well, actually, go and, I'm not sure how that's from an ego point of view. And I don't mean a negative, but just generally a person's ego. This is what I do. It's, we have a tablet for that. We know that you're going to need statins to reduce your blood pressure, right? We know that. So I'm going to give you statins to reduce your blood pressure so you don't end up with a stroke or a heart attack. That's their language, and that's right. That is correct and good and viable. It can go alongside, but it needs the person to go, I'm going to go and get some statins. I'm also going to go and do 2 or 3 other things to reduce my blood. Why is my blood pressure high?
Do you know what? That's that fertility patients know that more than anything. Yeah. So they're having very medically led treatment that's costly. Yeah. There's an entirely different mindset. Yeah. Because it's normally private. Yeah. And alongside, they're being recommended. They're being really told to have these complementary therapies because it will give them the best chance. Yes. And I think when you are desperate, it's a different mindset.
It is a different mindset. And actually, that is the one area that...
So even though it's desperate when we've got a debilitating illness or we've been diagnosed with something like high blood pressure,
different, isn't it?
It's different.
It's different. And I really feel that difference when people come into me and actually having chosen not to go down a fertility journey myself when I was told I had endometriosis and I was told it would never happen. Naturally, I've seen it turn people inside out and I chose not to do that. I think, it's the one thing I have the hugest respect for. And also, if I'm going to be brutally honest, the most nervousness about.
I can imagine.
Because you're holding hope.
Absolutely.
And really, there's a lot you can do, but there's nothing I can do with these hands that's going to give you a child if it isn't in your journey to have that child.
Absolutely.
It's a really, really difficult one.
Well, the industry is still based, even though it's the medical industry, it's still grounded in a heavy lack of evidence. Yeah. They are still preying on hope. Yeah. There is no, eventually you might have. Yeah. But that might be because your body has relaxed enough. Yes. We don't know
You
yet.
hear it all the time. You hear about people, who really, really struggled, adopted a child and then fell pregnant. Because the struggle was real and the struggle is over. Yes. But, and again, that word relaxing, it isn't sufficient.
No,
it isn't sufficient for what actually happens in the body. Yeah. We're talking hormones, we're talking ATP, we're talking mitochondria, we're talking you wouldn't, if you had a dog, let's say, and you didn't walk it and you fed it chocolate and you did all the bad things and you could see, it's joint pain and it's everything else like that. You wouldn't do that. No. But we do it to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
You wouldn't stress that dog. You wouldn't take it to the dog park where it's nervous of other dogs. Yeah. We do that every day. We go to bloody work. Yes. That is literally the dog park of the world, right? we do that to ourselves, and then we think, oh, we might enter that dog in the agility,
Yes.
at crafts.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's an odd analogy, but that's what we do to ourselves every single day.
Yeah. You are so
and then expect
true.
miracles.
So what do you think that when people come in and talk to you, if they don't have any, they just want to feel better.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would pick up on that they would miss by touching their feet? Can you diagnose? Is this a funny word?
100%. We never diagnose. I'm not qualified to diagnose. Now, I might have my thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you're open to a conversation, I'm happy to have that conversation with you. But if I find a crunchy liver, you don't have liver disease.
Yeah.
It's not working like that. It's like I can feel grittiness. I can feel congestion. You can see congestion on the feet. You know about circulation,
yes,
things
absolutely.
like that. So before I even start a treatment, I'm looking at the feet. I'm looking about where the redness is. I'm looking where the hard skin is. I'm looking about the position of the toes. Is one bent over the other more than, and foot reading is another weird thing. But again, there's a lady that sort of teaches it who has over 40, 50 years of experience. And again, I borrow a little bit from that. And actually our toes are apparently physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. The emotional toe is also the start of the gallbladder meridian. So it all starts to tie, when you're joining these dots, it all starts to tie in. If you're, so your first two toes, your physical and your emotional are dead straight. And then these two are completely, now you might say, well, that's just the shoes I'm wearing. Why are you wearing those shoes?
Yes.
Are you, we've talked about this, haven't we? If you're wearing pointy heels because you're in a corporate environment, dog park, are you crushing your spiritual and your, emotional self to be in that environment?
Wow.
It shows on your feet. Now, again, massive caveat. I'm not saying everyone with the benefits.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
It's being a bit forensic,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
Especially if someone's got, I'm really tired all the time and I can't pinpoint it. That's when all this stuff is good. You're like, well, could it be this? Could it be that? When are you waking up in the morning?
Yeah.
What else could it be?
Yes.
And again, like I keep saying, it's a toolkit. It's not, come into me and I'll do a whole energy scan and I'll, no. It's both of us working together. You tell me, right, okay, then I'll think, that might be this and I'm going to try this. Did that feel any different? I was on the day of the course on Monday, it happens on a Monday, I had a lovely client in, and she said she had a real pain right on her shoulder here. It's actually on the bladder meridian. So I would normally, if it wasn't in a classroom environment, I would work the bladder meridian for that pain because it runs up the back of the body. So if you've got pains here, think bladder rather than all neck and shoulder.
Wow.
Again, it could be neck and shoulder tension, right? We don't know. Anyway, so right at the very end, my tutor said, you mentioned your client had, and I said, are you okay with that? And I said, show me exactly where the pain is. So I put my finger exactly on her shoulder where the pain is. Oh, yes, that's it. Held her little finger for 6 out breaths. Did that make a difference? No, it didn't. Okay, then I held her first finger. Oh, yeah, that's a bit different. Let go, leave it. You've started the process. It's that. Don't ask me because we haven't got time. But I'm not fixing that pain in that treatment. What I'm doing is starting that connection for the body itself.
To do it itself. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
And I'm dabbling around the edges of things I will probably never fully understand.
Yes.
And I respect that and I appreciate that. But just show me the point to touch.
And
I will touch it and your body will do the rest. Because I'm not going to spend a lifetime learning about, I want sound bites that I can use straight away.
Touch my points, Victoria. Please. You sound amazing. I'm having my points touched. So, let's you explain it so well. You're so articulate. But let's talk about what I do for a bit and you being a patient of mine and our connection. If you don't mind talking about your own skin and aesthetics journey, how has that changed your reflexology practice? Has it? Do you feel the connection between the heart, the mind, the body, the soul? Do you think if I feel good, this is as important for me as the feet?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about that.
It's 100%. So everything you said to me, which was really lovely at the beginning, I would say to you.
Oh.
Because, I've been for facials and I've been for this and that in a variety of places, and I have left disappointed. I have left feeling angry with myself for going there and buying into that. So many places that are good are intimidating. I've been, for good haircuts and felt like an absolute grubby imposter sat there. And this probably speaks more about me than the places I'm going to. But, people in these sorts of environments, this is very alien to me, coming and there can be a stigma around, vanity and all the rest of it. I wouldn't tell everybody, that I have, the odd this or that. But actually, we need to be open. And yes, so to your point, yes, how I look makes a big, big difference. And actually, I'm going to be brutally honest now. When I first started coming here, it was to cheat the system.
Okay.
Because I like to embody what I'm banging on about. Yeah. So when someone comes into me, I'm looking a bit grey and a bit puffy and a bit tired because I've had half a bottle of wine the night before and a Chinese takeaway.
I love your honesty.
I'm not giving what I would want to give. So I'm not being false about it, but if you come to somewhere like this, right, as soon as I walked in through the door, there was none of that stiff, you're going to make the place look a bit messy. Yeah. Your look isn't quite right. Do you know, some things are too bloody trendy for their own damn good,
Yes.
Yeah. People with money tend to be the middle-aged people. I'm being
that.
general. We don't want to feel uncomfortable, I'm not going to get a bikini wax from a 23-year-old. Yeah. I'm just bloody not.
Yeah,
do you know?
Totally agree.
Take your 23-year-old self.
Yeah.
I want to feel comfortable because when I'm comfortable, I relax. And when I relax, I'm going to tell you the actual issue and what I'm actually looking for.
Yes.
And I trust you so much that actually, you've got all sorts of weird and wonderful machines in there. A bit like what you just asked me. Yeah. I've got no idea what they do.
Yeah.
And you might say, try a bit of RF. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It's worked beautifully. I don't need to know what that machine is doing. I trust you to know what that machine is doing. I trust you for the setting, the duration, everything. I've never really asked you very much about it. True. Because we're too busy talking about other things. But also because I've come in here and I trust, I feel comfortable, and you have got so many things in your toolkit that I know. And these little phrases, youth has no age, tired of looking done, it's that whole ethos of be your best self.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
That's what I'm trying to do for people in a much different way, but it's the same, right?
Yeah, it is the same.
It's the same. Be your best self.
Yeah.
The way you show up and again, it comes up to everything, nervous system regulation, picking the right outfit for the day. Have you ever gone to work and you've got there and you thought, what the hell was I thinking?
Yes.
With this top or this skirt?
Yes.
And your whole day is different. You kind of do this.
Absolutely.
And you might have needed to go up to the 5th floor to have it. And you're like, I'll do that tomorrow when I'm not wearing this skirt that's a little bit too tight. Same skin, hair, everything's same, right? So you get to a point where I want to show up and I want to look fresh and I want to look healthy, even if I'm not living my mantra for the week, for the month, whatever, because I'm coming here and Skin Club is an amazing concept. I can get away with it.
Yeah.
I can get away with it just for a little bit, just to get myself back. And when I look at, I think we've all done it through lockdown, and I do it sometimes where you get up in the morning and maybe I've got a day off, I'm not doing very much, and I'll put that grey sweatshirt on and I won't bother doing my hair. And every time I walk past a mirror, I'm like, by the end of the day, you're feeling, now what I do, I might have the same day off, but I'll put a bright pink sweatshirt on and I'll put a plait in my hair. And then I look in the mirror, I'm like, okay, it's not amazing, but it's not awful. And it's really, be less ambitious, but really just be less awful.
No,
and
that's true.
Because it's amazing. You come here, you can have anything. It's like the Willy Wonka of face care or skin care. You can have anything.
Yeah.
And you can have a conversation about what that anything could be.
Oh, that makes
and I love that.
Amazing.
I love that. I said to you, the last time I drove out of it, I feel like an A-lister. I come out of here and I feel like on not on an A-lister budget. I feel like an A-lister. I've had a facialist. I don't know what you would like to be referred to as, but I've got someone who I can come and go, without any kind of weird, I don't look like, I just look like me, but it's better than I looked a year ago.
Oh my gosh,
it's down to coming here.
And that is, I think for me, we embody the sweet spot relationship because of what you do and what I do. And we both get it. Yeah. And I've been in corporate as well. And, I have my shit eating days and, my not sleeping days and too much alcohol days. And I've never learned to forgive myself. I've only wanted to like whip myself over the back and my God, why are you doing so crap? Whereas actually meeting somebody that allows you that little bit of it's okay and you're human.
Oh, it's more than okay. It's bloody brilliant. Who doesn't love a frozen pizza? Yeah. It's brilliant. These things are available. Enjoy them.
Yes, but
but know what it's doing.
Yes, that's so unique and so interesting. And I think that without saying it, you are able to hold a space and hold a boundary for you and others without even talking about it. You talk about it in a roundabout way, but it's there from you. And I don't know how you do it because you do it so effortlessly.
Let me tell you, that did not happen in the corporate world. No. I was not this person. So it's not me. It is me now. Yes, but because I've managed to change and be more authentic.
Yes,
that's another overused word, right?
Yeah, but I'm all about that.
Authenticity, oh my goodness. To me, authenticity is about keeping your promises to yourself because then no one can rock you. No one can shake you because you show up for you.
Yes.
Right? It's as simple as that, I think.
Yeah.
But the corporate world was really quite, not latterly. My last couple of roles were fantastic, but before then, my God, it just strips you of,
gosh, that's
your authenticity and your,
you're real.
Yeah,
you be real, and you get treated differently as well.
Pardon?
You get treated differently.
Absolutely.
When you show up
Absolutely. You need to understand in the corporate world that if they don't give you permission to succeed, you will not succeed. And you need to know who that person is that has not given you permission to succeed, whether they don't like you, whether they don't like the cut of your jib, whether you remind them of something. It could be anything, all out of your control. So that's again a whole separate conversation.
I could talk to you forever.
Yeah,
Victoria, we've kind of coming to the end. You've answered everything. I've barely asked you a question. We've done it so easily.
You did say it would be.
it was. I barely asked you, but before I ask you just these sort of quick questions, which I'm really interested to hear, because everything that you say, I do hang my word. I'm like, yes. So I just want to say before I ask you these questions, thank you so much for being so gracious and honest and open and real and being, do you know what? There's a podcast I listen to and she's called Vanessa Van Edwards and she talks about charisma. I've talked about
I love her.
She's great, isn't she?
She is great, yes.
Warmth versus competence.
Yes,
and the sweet spot is here.
Yes, things I wish I'd known 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
You, I find all of those sorts of cues fascinating. And you just do it. You don't have to be taught it. She was a recovering awkward person and you just do it. And you bring in enough of the warm, the competence, and you are in that charismatic sweet spot for me. Tell me a favourite bit to work on. Like, when you find something, what's your favourite? Have you got a favourite bit? Do you go, ooh, I love the head bit or a big toe bit?
My favourite bit to work on is the right bit.
Is it?
Without being funny, and it's different for everyone. Yeah. You know when you're on it. You know when you've got it. I do feet, hands and ears. I do ear seeding, which is a whole different thing. But feet, absolutely feet is there's so much on the feet, right? There's so much.
I've learned loads.
You know, I mean, I had somebody, I don't know how much time we've got, but I had somebody the other day, and based on what she told me, I was working gallbladder and bladder for releasing, letting go, gallbladder for head stuff, physical, you know, and actually her toes, I call it antennering, so important to watch. The toe did like a little twirl. Now you can't do that on your own. Your muscles aren't set up that way. And it literally went in a ripple. So while I was working, her gallbladder toe, fourth toe on this foot went woo. And I was like, okay, I've got you. Then her head toe did it, her big toe did it. And then her bladder toe. So that tells me there's something going on in your, and actually her second toes pull away from her big toes physically. So there's something in her head that is bothering her. It's coming out through her body. It's just telling me. So it's the right bit is my favourite bit.
Gosh,
if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything in reflexology, you've heard all this stuff, that you think is absolute crock of shit?
Oh gosh, that's going to be a hard one to answer without upsetting anybody. Or I think we should always look at the whole thing as a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Again, like I say, filter, be curious, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, it is what it is. So I think, have I heard anything? People's opinions differ. Like I was saying about the pituitary gland, some people have that as your eyeball. You know, so I think take charts. Let's say, and again, remember what someone's selling you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Victoria, thank you so much for coming on.
You're so
Please,
welcome.
will you come back?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Oh gosh, absolutely.
I sat down like I was coming into a job interview, like I said, but it's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How indulgent to talk about something you really love for a full hour.
You've just been amazing. I keep saying that every time we see somebody, it's like my best, and you've been my best. Like everybody's been the best. It's just, I find this fascinating.
What a wonderful thing to do. What a wonderful platform to give people who wouldn't otherwise. I've never done anything like this, so thank you for that.
Thank you. That's it for today's Barefaced Chat. Thank you so much for listening. If you've loved this conversation, make sure you follow, rate, and share. It really helps more people find us and join the conversation. I'll be back next week with another honest, unfiltered chat. Because skin isn't just skin. It's your story, and I'm here for it.